Hey Fairbanks, so we're going to talk about staging, but before we get to staging, I want to talk about an episode of MasterChef Junior that I watched with my family on Hulu the other day. In this episode, the competition was that there were a whole bunch of motocross guys that were like 50 or 60 of them that they had to cook for. And one team cooked steak and like a corn salsa and like this really yummy thing. It was delicious, and they got a whole bunch of votes. The other team cooked it also looked delicious, but it was this super thick pork chop that had, I think it was like a barbecue sauce glaze. But the thing is that the group that focused on cooking something for their audience, that focused on their clients and what they wanted, ended up getting more votes than the people that focused on what they wanted to cook for their clients. If we use that simple analogy at, going forward with staging our home, and we stage our home for the people that are going to be coming through our home, and with the idea that they are going to be viewing our property. So we need to make it look enticing for them, not for us. That's going to help us a lot. So let's keep that in mind as we move forward. Right, so first on our list when we're looking at trying to successfully stage our house or stage our property is decluttering. Sometimes that can be tough. I completely understand. This is a lived-in house, and we're going to go from living in our property to essentially turning it into something that we're not living in. We've got to make it basically be a shell of a property that we are no longer living in. You'll go through and you'll take things off of surfaces and they will put things right back on. I'm looking at my kitchen table and it's got a board game, and we just cleaned it off. But we can declutter as best we can, and we can make sure that things are cleaned off just before photos. And when we're going to get those professional photos, all surfaces are clean of all clutter. And I mean, like, you want to make sure that everything looks clean and put away. When things are out on surfaces, it makes it look like there's no storage available. And that can be a tricky thing for for buyers to overcome in their mind, especially when they're moving up to Fairbanks and space is at such a high premium. The majority of the space that we have is either used for storage or living. So we need to do everything that we can to declutter space. Next, depersonalize. Remember, we want to do everything that we can to make sure that this property is the next buyer's property. Because as they're walking through your home, their home, they need to be forming an emotional attachment to your house. And they have a really hard time doing that when they see your family and all of your stuff in your home. You need to get all of the things, all of your personal effects off of the wall. This can mean taking down religious items, it can mean taking down family photos. All of those things distract from the fact that you've got a great home to sell. You want them to be present in your home, to love themselves in your home, as weird as that sounds. Next, clean and repair. So this is a big one, especially up here, because it can be really hard to keep things clean, especially in given certain parts of the year. Breakup can be a really hard season to keep things clean. It just is. Everything's muddy all the time. One of the things that you'll see all the time are ghosting. So you'll see what look to be like shadows up on your ceilings if you have white ceilings or lightly colored ceilings. This is especially present if you have a wood stove, or if you have a fireplace or a pellet stove, solid fuel burning appliance in your home. Not ghosts. I don't mean to say that your homes are haunted. What I'm saying is that there's an explanation for why there's shadows on your walls and your ceilings. If you're concerned about them, you can wipe it down, you can paint over them, you can do all kinds of things. But going through and giving it a good wipe down is super important. As far as repairs go, getting a pre-listing home and septic inspection is super important. With economic changes, we've had a couple of turnovers of homes in which, because of how competitive buyers had to be, they may not have gotten a lot of repairs done by sellers because of negotiations. Now we might have a whole bunch of deferred maintenance items that might have gone unchecked or uncompleted. With that being the case, now is a great time, especially if you're considering getting your home on the market in the next 6 to 12 months, to take a look at getting a pre-listing home inspection. This will help give you a kind of a leg up on the market when, over the next 6 to 12 months, everyone else is trying to get their home inspection scheduled. You'll already have yours, and you'll already have started working on a punch list of important items. If you ever have any questions about these items or any other things that could be holding you back on a sell in the future, you can always give us a call, 907-885-0316. Neutralize. So when it comes to neutralizing your home, what does that necessarily mean? It really means coming up with a neutral color scheme. The color palette grayish comes to mind. It's kind of a cross between gray and beige. You really don't want to be falling into any kind of the more extreme color palettes, because then you are pigeonholing yourself into kind of niche areas where only a few buyers are really interested in it. You want to make your home as appealing to as many buyers as possible, and in order to do that, kind of have to make your home as neutral as possible. And with more eccentric colors and more customized colors in your home, it narrows you down to only a few buyers are going to be interested in your home. And when you're trying to find only a few buyers instead of this many, it makes it to where this pack of buyers that you're looking for is much less likely to be found. You're probably going to have to reduce your price in order to be able to find them a lot easier. Maximizing space. When it comes to maximizing space, this kind of goes back to the neutralizing of your color palette too. It is a lot easier to maximize your space when you have a lighter or a more neutral color scheme. A great way to maximize your space is to just open up your curtains and pull up your blinds. Just letting in a whole bunch of natural light to bounce around on neutrally colored walls will do a lot to make the space feel a lot bigger. The next best thing that you can do is to rearrange some furniture. If even all of that has still not made a significant impact, maybe consider removing some of the furniture. You can always use the garage space, if you have a garage, as a secondary storage space. No one is going to be upset if during showings they go out and they see that your garage is huge or is available, but also filled with a lot of your things. Thinking about moving to Fairbanks? Well, click on the link below for my free relocation guide where I talk about top schools, top neighborhoods, and so much more. Next is staging the outside. If you watch videos about curb appeal and all that down in the lower 48, or if you've sold homes in the lower 48, curb appeal is kind of a big deal. Up here, I wouldn't go too crazy with curb appeal or trying to fix up the exterior of your home, because it can have a negative effect on your property taxes. So don't go overboard with making the exterior of your property look so super grand. The things that you want to be on the hunt for are peeling and chipping paint and anything that might be falling apart. Apart from that, keep your lawn looking nice, keep it trimmed, keep it manicured. Don't let things look out of control, but you don't have to go through and plant a whole bunch of flowers and put mulch in the gardens and do all of these nice things and make your home the shining star on the block. But you don't have to go super crazy trying to keep a really nice yard here. Just keep it nice looking, and then you should be okay. Now, in certain parts of the year, you definitely want to pay attention to how your entrance looks, especially in the winter. You don't want to have your entrance or your front door or wherever you want people to be coming in and out of your home be a slipping hazard. You also don't want it to look too unsightly, especially if you've got pets. Maybe take them to a spot where they're not going to be using the restroom right where people are going to be walking in. Also, in certain times of the year, the porch, whether it's the front or the back, can act as a second or even third freezer. So keep that in mind too. But when it comes to the actual curb appeal part of selling in Fairbanks, it's not something you necessarily have to go crazy on. So the last thing on our list is to highlight the absolute best features of your home. If there are one or two things that you'd identify as like the top two things about your home, you've got a really great master bedroom, you've got an awesome entertainment center, then those things should naturally kind of pop off the page for you. But if you've done all of the other steps that I've listed before, it should be a no-brainer for the buyer that's taking a look at your home, and they should be able to see these best features and be ready to come and take a look at your home, no problem. So if you have questions about these staging tips or any other questions about the home selling process, you can give us a call at 907-885-0316. You can also reach out to us in the comment section below. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.